Hi everybody, welcome to a regular Monday edition of Monkey Island Madness. I am coming on a half an hour early because Dee Dee finished early. So we've just been sitting here chatting. This is taped live over at Ustream TV, and I do have a live audience, so I talk to them a lot. I'm reading chat right now. Yeah, I don't know. It is just sad. Anyway, Ustream's having issues today, you guys, and I'm really sorry. I wish there was something I could tell you. One thing I know is if you're on a lappy, sometimes going out, shutting down, rebooting, and coming back helps, or clearing out your cache, your history. I don't know if it gets too full of cookies or what, but that has helped me in the past. So if that helps you, I hope it does. It was a razor bike was involved in the accident the other night, Tinker. We were talking about an accident that happened here on Monkey Island. A razor bike was one of the, it was a razor bike and a golf cart. That's just it. You never know. You never know. I did hear it was about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I did hear the sirens. But hi, Judy. Hi, Ann L. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start. You guys are probably not surprised that I was gone for 3 weeks to Australia. And while we were there, I just picked up different ephemera here and there. And you're funny, Jennifer. So this weekend, because on holiday weekends, I have to just hibernate here. I mean, honestly, I told my neighbor, I'm going to be in my pajamas on the couch for like 3 days. And I'm not kidding. That's about how bad it was because there's just too many people. It's too people-y out there. So what I did with my weekend was I sat on the couch and I binge watched Midsummer Murders and glued all of my ephemera in, well, not all of it, but most of it. I glued in the journal cover that Heather had given each of us. So, hi, Kangaroo Babe. So, I haven't actually put the binding on or the closure because I want to reinforce the spine before I do that, but this is how it will be. I'll have a elastic enclosure, and I've got this cute little, I don't know if you can see him. Yeah, put my glasses on. A cute little kangaroo charm, and I have a little koala charm too, but I can't get him on the elastic. But look at how cute those little charms are. So that'll be the closure, and then I'll just have a elastic binding system. But I will go ahead and affix it to the book. So the front, this journal was given to me by Heather, and it was just I'm not sure, Heather, if this is Magicals. I'm not sure what it is, how you made it, but it was really pretty. And I just put a postcard of the Australia flag on the front. And then she had drawn the continent for me, but I went ahead and added all the states and just a few little things that I had left over, and then the dates of the trip. We left April 12th, came home May 9th. So I kind of tried to do it in trip order, and I should have brought in that other journal where I have stuff written down. But when you fly Qantas and you pay for an upgrade, oh my gosh, they treat you so good. So they hand you a menu when you get on, and this was the menu. And I just thought it was really well done, so I saved it. So this is on the trip going. This is what we had going. And it's nice. And this is my new BFF. And most of these pictures that look really nice are postcards that I bought. They're not, and I'm sorry for the glare. Let me see if I can close that blind, and maybe we won't have such a bad glare. Yeah, that's better. Well, a little better. And those are my Qantas tickets and boarding pass. And then this was just some other little ephemera that I had. But I think this was kind of my attitude going into the trip is just enjoy every little thing. So, and I found that on a bag or something. So, I used it. I've still got to color the little girl. This is one that Z sent me before we left. And then the journal Z made me is in the center. So, and she also sent me these little kangaroo cutouts that you see here and there. And then the rest of it are either stickers or whatever that I bought while I was there. This was part of the, again, part of the trip. Just the boarding passes, the stuff like that. Stuff off the luggage. I keep pretty much everything because I like having this when I get home. And when we flew into, I had 3 flights even getting to Australia. I went to Dallas-Fort Worth to San Francisco to Sydney. So this was the day we got to Sydney. We stayed at the Sir Stamford Hotel at Circular Quay. And if you're familiar with Sydney at all, Circular Quay is down at the harbor. So we got to stay right on the harbor. The view out our window was gorgeous. This was taken in the hospital, in the hotel lobby, the 3 of us. This was the room key, and then this is just out of one of the magazines that I picked up there. Opals are huge. I mean, in Australia, you can go mine for them, whatever, but you cannot believe the opal jewelry that you can buy in Oz. And because we got in at 6:30 in the morning, and I know I've gone over this trip before, we couldn't get into our hotel. And so we went to Manly Beach that day, and it was absolutely gorgeous. So this is a map. The background is a map of Manly Town Center. This was something I bought, and then this is me and Z. CB had gotten too hot, so she'd gone over here to sit down in the shade, but Z and I were sitting there watching the men in Speedos. And then this is out of a magazine, just what Manly Beach is like. And then these are postcards. Well, this is actually of Sydney Harbor. And, you know, looking back on the trip, my most favorite part, honestly, was, what are they going to do, shoot me? Teresa said, you're supposed to return room keys, Janet. Yeah, what are they going to do, shoot me? I didn't return the room key, ever. So, and I'm still alive, so, and they can't take my birthday away, so I'm good. But anyway, my favorite part of the trip, undoubtedly, was hanging out with Z, CB, and Jen. Hands down, that was my favorite part. Meeting Heather and Carrie Ann was the best, you know, because it was just being with the Fibs, right? But second to that, I have to say my favorite part of Australia, and I only saw a fraction of it, believe me, was Sydney Harbor. I honestly believe Sydney Harbor is one of the most beautiful places on earth. If you can see that, there's the Opera House sticking out there, the Harbor Bridge, and then this area right in here is what is called Circular Quay. So when you're there, you're kind of right in the middle of everything. That is a picture of Circular Quay right there, with the Opera House and the big cruise ship. That's where cruise ships take off from Sydney, and then all the little ferries are at all the wharfs back here. I think there's 6 wharfs. And so it was just, there's the ticket from the Sydney Opera House tour. That was an amazing thing. And just being at the Sydney Opera House was so unbelievable for me. That's the Queen Victoria building in downtown Sydney. That's down at Circular Quay. And then I did keep all the receipts of all the shopping that we did, so I just put them in here so I can remind myself how much money I spent. And this was a bag from somewhere. I don't know where it came from. Here's Sydney Harbor again, the Opera House. Here's a map of Circular Quay. We use that a lot. And then we were there for 2 days, and then Jen came and got us, and it was Anzac Day. So I picked up an Anzac Day brochure. And this is where we went to watched two up. Receipts from different things that we bought. And again, it's just like receipts, and then we flew out and went to Melbourne next. So these were all the flights to Melbourne. That's Melbourne at night. And from our apartment, they didn't have fireworks while we were there, but we had the most gorgeous view from our apartment. You could see the wheel. I don't know. There's the wheel. From our apartment window, you could see that wheel. So, yeah. No, I might be lying. Was that one? Yeah. Yeah, I think it was. It was over to our right. And then we went to the Dandenong Range Mountains to the William Ricketts Sanctuary, and I told you guys all about that. So this is the brochure from that, and some pictures of what we saw. And then again, we went out to dinner that night. So that's from the restaurant, and that was our waiter. And again, more receipts. More of William Ricketts. So it's really just all the junk you collect up. This is the flyer from the hotel where we stayed. We stayed in room 03. So that was the layout. And we had a nice little balcony. So Heather was with us there. And then this was a picture of old Melbourne. And I'm glad I bought the postcards, because I'm not good about printing out pictures. And then just those are actually tattoos that you can put on anything. They're intended to be put on your skin, but I just put them on anything. Hi, Barry Nice. Here's just different things in Melbourne. They had a great tram system. These are some business cards from those artists that we crashed their studio, Heather. And I have more stuff from there, but I think I put it in the other journal. And then we did the tram car dinner one night. So we went in there, and they served us the most amazing dinner. And we had Chef Henry, Melanie, and Mona taking care of us. And it was like, was it 5 courses or something? All the wine you wanted, whatever you wanted. Yeah. That's Flinders Street Station. There you go. We were down there. See, Heather spent a lot of time in Melbourne. She lived there and worked there. So, yeah. And then this was, what do you call it? A coaster. From one night we stopped and got drinks before we went on the tram dinner. Talk about expensive alcohol. OMG. I think for 4 of us to have drinks that night was over $50. It was pricey, and it was down at the Crown Casino. And that's one of these bridges is where the picture of all of us was taken, down on the Yarra River. But I don't remember which bridge it was. But we were about mid-bridge, and we asked somebody to take a photo of us. It's so beautiful there. And then this is just a street map of the tram system that we tried to use, but we ended up walking 17,000 steps anyway. But here's the map of Melbourne. And then we flew out and went back to Newcastle, where we met Carrie Ann. So this is just the flight stuff and different things. And then Carrie Ann brought us postcards from where she lives. So since I didn't actually visit those places, I just kept them in here like this. So now I can visualize where Carrie Ann hangs out. And I just made a little pocket to put those in. And then you heard from Jen what we did there. We went to office supply stores, art supplies, and then this was on the that mini journal that Carrie Ann made me. So I saved that and stuck it in here in the pocket. And I like to make journals like this for stuff like that. You know, like, what are you going to do with that? But I can always pull that out and know that Carrie Ann made that for me. And it was on my package when she gave it to me. And I still haven't been able to use the journal because it's just too pretty. And then this is some of that paper that, I'm going to spill that copy, that Z bought at the Opera House. And then one day while we were there, we went to the Oakville Wildlife Preserve, and that's where we got to touch, you know, feed the kangaroos and feed everything, you know. So that was that. And I like to keep stuff like that. And I'm not a scrapbooker, so if you're a scrapbooker, you could look at this and say, oh my God, you could have done this different, you could have done that different. But, hi Carol. But yeah, this is kind of how I do it. Slap it in the book. When I pick it up and look at it, I'll always have good memories. And this is the little journal that Z made for me. I think this paperclip, though, Heather, you made for me, right? I think this came with the journal. But again, now I don't remember. So I'll keep that on that. And I haven't really done anything with Z's journal yet. I've got some stuff to put in there. But yeah, I haven't done that yet. But I think this journal is going to live in here. Hi, Vicki. And so these were the receipt from Oakville and the kangaroo and the koala and the wombat that we got to see there. And Carrie Ann and her husband were with us that day. And then we left Jen's and went to Brisbane. I always say it wrong. It, again, is an absolutely beautiful, just everything there was so beautiful. The beaches, everything. So that was our boarding pass and stuff like that. And then just different things from Brisbane. And that was where we took the train, which was a scary thing for some of us because I've never done that too much. And so I saved our train tickets. And this is the art store that we went to. And this is the map that we used. We got off at Fortitude Valley and then went down into the city. Look at Kangaroo Point. Can you guys see that? And then we ended up crossing, I don't remember, oh, there's Queen Street. We walked down Queen Street, so I know that that is the bridge that we took the picture of Z on. And then we came over here and ate dinner one night. So, and we were staying like way out here. I remember Bowen Hills was one of the train stops, and then we got off on Fortitude Valley. We got back on the train, went down to Central Station, and then walked all down in here. So that's why I save stuff like that, because yeah, it's good to have. And then this again, we went shopping, so I have a bunch of receipts of stuff that I bought. Oh, and here's another hotel room key. Teresa, I didn't return it. And more pictures. I mean, I don't know, postcard pictures to me are so much better than what I could take. You know, these people sit out there for hours to get the light just right, the sky just right, everything just right. I ain't gonna do that. And then we went over to South Bank for dinner. But isn't that just gorgeous? Can you imagine that? Living there? Ugh, so pretty. Kangaroo Point is kind of like Monkey Island. Cool. Well, I should have made sure I got over there. So, yeah, that's pretty much. And then when we left Brisbane, CB and I went back, and this is all the travel information there. We went back to Sydney. And this time we stayed a little bit further away than Circular Quay, but we still had a beautiful hotel. So many people don't return them. Well, they reprogram them, so it's not like I could go back in and use the same key again. So, anyway, So we were back in Sydney, and then for those 2 days, we actually got on the ferry and just rode around to everything around Sydney. So this was kind of what you could do on the ferries is stop at Fort Denison, Rose Bay, Watson's Bay, the zoo, go over to North Sydney, go out to Manly Beach. One thing I did forget on here was Darling Harbor. It's on around from Sydney Harbor, but it's also beautiful, and it's all packed with restaurants and places to shop and convenience stores and kiosks, and then you guys knew that we stumbled onto that zine fair at the museum, which was very cool. And this is the one artist that I like there, and I still need to go to her website and see if I can order that one zine that I wanted from hers. And then these are just different places in Sydney Harbor. This is the rocks. The second day we did go over and walk through all these. This is the oldest place in Sydney. It's where they colonized. So that was a really, really interesting place. And I would say if you ever go to Sydney, go to the rocks, because they've done the most fabulous job of mixing the old architecture, the old buildings with the new. And everything's so well done. And then we ate dinner at the Fortunes of War, because when I go into restaurants, I will also take the coasters. So these were coasters from the Fortune of War, and it's the oldest pub, and it's over in the rocks. And here's an old-time photo of what the rocks were like back before real civilization. And then these are just extra postcards I had of Manly Beach, the Sydney Harbor. That's Manly Beach again. So, yep, and these are just where I kind of threw all the extras that I had. I bought a lot of Sydney Harbor because I loved Sydney Harbor. And there's the skyline. So when we first got there, we were staying right about in here, and then when we went back, we were over past this park. And that's not really a park, it's the Botanical Gardens. And here's the wildlife then. And the birds there are incredibly colorful. And koalas. I wish I would have seen a koala in the wild. We did see either a kangaroo or a wallaby out in the wild, but we didn't know which it was. So, because we're not wildlife experts. But look at all the little koalas. Hi, Pam. So, and then this was the menu coming home on Qantas. And the rest of the travel documents and receipts, and where I exchanged my money. I gave them $90. They charged me $10 for the exchange, and I ended up with $47 when I got home. I only had $90 Australian with me when I got home. I've got to glue that better. But there's the travel documents to get me home, and Heather made this shaker card for me, so I put it in there, and it's got a outline of Australia in the back of it and little kangaroo shakers in there. And then she wrote this for us, our trip to Oz, and I'm going to color that, or watercolor it actually. So, and then this was off a bag somewhere that I just cut out and stuck on the journal. So that was pretty much everything I collected over in Oz. I'm glad it's all put together. I'm glad I have it. I've still got to finish a little bit on the Z one, the one Z did, but I'll do that, and I will go ahead and bind it at some point with my little kangaroo. I like it bound because I can hide knots and stuff with my little kangaroo charm. So I wish I could get my koala on there. So that was my Australia journal. So that's what I spent my weekend doing, kind of putting that together. I would have loved to put a koala in my suitcase and bring it home, but I'm sure Robert wouldn't have let me in the house. The exchange rate, just figure right now the exchange rate is about $1.30. 70 some cents, something like that. Thanks, Heather. Thanks, Jennifer. Yeah, just collect up all the stuff, you know, like you can drag it home, and if you don't use it, you can always throw it away. But yeah, and it will always be really good memories. I'm not good at photos. I probably won't print out photos. I may, a few here and there, but I'll put them in my written journal, which I probably will not go back and write anything in here. Yep. But if I ever want to know a street in Melbourne, I have the map. And then I don't know if I showed this the day I showed you, because I'm a huge Midori fan, or Traveler's Notebook, whatever. I like every kind of them. I like the Midori name brand. I like the homemade ones. I like all of them. Somewhere where we were, I don't remember, and I don't even know if they sold the Traveler's Notebooks there. It might have been in that bookstore. Hang on. Now see, this is the cool thing about having this journal. I know it was while we were in Sydney. This is one. The Kinokanuya, whatever. I can't speak that. But anyway, I think I might have picked this up there. And I didn't know how to get this in this journal because I want to keep my Traveler's Times. And I've seen these before, but I've never actually had one of these Traveler's Times notebooks. And in here they're talking about they're making a new brass pen to use with your Midori or your Traveler's Notebook. I just love this. I mean, I don't really want to cut it up. I could have cut it up to put in that journal, but look at how cool this is. The drawings of the Traveler's Notebooks and the brass pen. I've got like this, the stencil. I didn't buy, well, maybe I did buy that. I don't remember. I don't have the brass pen, however, I would want one. And I don't have their spiral bound notebook yet. So I might have to invest in the brass fountain pen. And I need it like I need a hole in the head, but it does say Traveler's Company on it. So I want to keep this. I'm just not sure how to keep it. And then they have a great article about an artist that has used the Traveler's Notebook and the inserts for a long, long time. And her work involves her traveling and doing murals all over the world. And this is the artist, Maki Okajima or something. But just her story of how she found out about Traveler's Notebook, what it means to her, whatever. So I want to keep this. I just don't know how to keep it. So, yeah. If you ever see this, pick it up. Because it's a cool thing. So now I'm thinking I have some other projects I'm going to work on, but I'm wondering if I should do them in multiple. I think I will. So that was my Australia journal. I'm glad it's all put together. Heather, thank you for the journal cover. It's perfect for what I wanted and what I needed. So, and I didn't, if you told us what the background was, not right now, honey, I missed it, but it's so pretty. And the colors are just so me that, yeah. So thanks for watching, and I'm going to go ahead and do a second video now.